Welcome everyone to my new educational material for Top 1 Futures. Today we're gonna talk about something very interesting. $49,000 in 6 days? How is it possible? Well, let me share with you, break it down, explain you, and of course, have a nice subject on the have a nice discussion, have a nice approach, like brainstorming around the subject, which I think it's important for us traders to maximize. This is what I'm trying to do with today's material, to maximize your chances from the theoretical standpoint, starting from scratch, right? So we're going to talk about the straight to funded Sim Pro accounts, the new ones that are massively discounted, by the way, with a coupon code SCRAMBLE, 55%. Everything is in the comments area, description area, right? We're going to talk about the 150K account. That's what we care about. With my code is $292 right now, and we're gonna go ahead and take it step by step. With a strategy of 6 days, I'm gonna get to that point by a little later, and simply I'm gonna entry in this presentation with some details. The payout target is at 6% specifically for the first payout, which is $9,000. Second payout target is at 5%, which is $7,500. Max drawdown is $6,000 at 4%. Max drawdown is having at the moment no daily loss. Keep that in mind, right? So you have this specific complete freedom of $6,000, which is an intraday drawdown. It's not an end of the day drawdown. Now, you also have to keep in mind that this specific intraday trailing drawdown is only during the first payout in reality. Because once your first payout has been requested and executed, the new max loss will be at your original balance plus $100. And it's not trailing anymore. So once your max loss is reaching your original balance, it's not going to move from there. They're going to add that extra $100 at the time you request your first payout, and it's over. Right? So the first big deal here is clear about the first payout, because the second payout is going to have total different condition, third, fourth, and so on. However, there's no third and fourth. You can only have 2 payouts per account maximum. If you get that, you have big chances to be moved to live if you're achieving that, right? Which is why you kind of want to maximize that with 7 accounts, if that makes sense and if that is possible, of course, speaking about maximizing. However, the trailing is not moving anymore once you get to your first payout. It remains on your original balance plus 100. So from that moment, the account becomes very comfortable, I would say. 7 accounts totally right now, because we're during this promotional period. It's going to get to 5 at some point. Equity stability score, 30%. For those of you that don't know, I have a video on my channel, the previous video I made, where I'm explaining the formula exactly. And, I'm also going to publish a specific video about this one too. Probably it's going to be the next video I'm doing it. It's already filmed. So it's different than the consistency. However, cost of the 7 accounts is $2,044. Payout for the 7 accounts, $3,500 on each. You get 90 to 10 split. That's $3,150 per account times 7, $22,000 you get basically in a single round by cashing the maximum out of each. If you're copy trading, you're just like trading a single account at higher values. The payout between the cost ratio is more than 10 times. Right, you're paying $292 right now with a 55% Scramble code, which is always going to give you the maximum. This 55% is not going to be forever. This is for the current promotion, but Scramble will always give you the most existent. However, at that price, you're having more than 10%, more than 10 times, not more than 10%, more than 10 times a better ratio on the payout. Break-even limit requires 10% success rate, guys. So if you have a 10% success rate, which means that you're only bringing 1 account out of 10, if you're trading them individually, let's say, and you're just bringing a single account out of 10, you're going to get $3,150. spend 2,920 and break even. You're going to have $230 profit. If you're only bringing 1 out of 10 to the payout. 20% success rate, 2 out of 10 to a payout, will give you 3,380. 30% already is going to give you 6,530. So it's like a numbers game, right? It depends what's your success ratio with this ones. But the most important part is what I'm going to share with you from right now, because there were some details that are not part of that 49 grand strategy. Here's the deal, guys. $49,000 in 6 days. Is it just a clickbait or it's, empty words? Not really. The $49,000 total payout, which is actually $44,100 net payout because of that 90 to 10 split. You only get 90% of what you cash out. Yet you request your entire amount, but that's the way it is. What do you guys think about the following idea I just had? And I've been also talking with my fellas on the live stream. By the way, we're live streaming daily, trading live on my YouTube from Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. EST time. We also give out accounts as giveaways. Feel free to join, guys, every single day. We have the 30% equity stability score. But what if we take no loss? Think about it. This becomes exactly like a consistency rule. So in a nutshell, without a loss, we have basically a 30% consistency rule. With a 6% target on 150K, it means $9,000 that needs to be made. $9,000 with 30% consistency rule if we take no losses. What would be the fastest way to get there by minimizing the exposure in the markets was the question I was asking myself. So if you earn $2,650 daily for 3 days, plus $150 for the last 7 days because you need to do that 10 days of trading, and the minimum day is $150 on the $150,000 due to the fact that you have to do that specific percentage which is listed on their website. It's 0.1% basically minimum. For 7 days you do that. That is going to equal with a total of $9,000. So with 3 days at $2,650 each, you're going to make $7,950 within your first 3 days. Or if you're doing, it could be your first 3 days, it could be in any form you want. But in 3 days, you can aggressively get there. And then the rest of the 7 days will bring you $1,050. 7 days of 150. Totally gives you $9,000, which is the payout threshold you have to be. Which means, in other words, by risking for 3 days, being offensive, aggressive, I think could be an interesting approach. Of course, this is risky, highly risky, and you have to clearly know that no stop loss means if you're utilizing the entire drawdown to lose your account, right? So it's kind of clear, right? But at an exchange, you have this possibility. If you consider it something that you would test out, maybe some of you are capable for 3 days to have a $2,650. Maybe the video I'm filming right now helps some of you to think about something that could make you money, because the high risk is on this 3 days. On the other 7 days, the risk is lower due to the fact that the target is just $150. So that 3 days will complete 88% of the target you have to do. That out of that 9,000, right? Because in that 3 days you make 7,950. And I've measured that's 88%. So in 3 days you complete your 88% and you're fine with that. You're fine with that. Very interesting. 3 days gives you 88% of the target. The rest of the 7 days we earn the minimum needed and we get to our target. So 2 payouts representing $44,100 100, two rounds of payouts, right? 2 cycles of payouts. 44, 100 on 7 accounts means 6 days. 3 days in the first cycle to be aggressive and push this one, and then 3 days within the next cycle. And that's kind of 6 days for that value if you're following this form. Very interesting. On top of that, like I said, on your second cycle, the drawdown is starting at the original balance plus $100. So you have a lot of the room. It's not trailing. It's not doing too much. It's a lot easier. It's a lot easier. Yeah, the bigger deal is, of course, in the first cycle to get there. But there's 6 days that will make it 88% of this 44,100. So the risk, the biggest risk, the pressure is on that 6 days if you want to go for the 2 cycles. However, once you finish your first cycle, you get paid, right? So you get half of the 44,100, which is 2250. It's not like you're receiving 0 or 44,100. You're actually receiving your payout after the first trading cycle, and you're good with that. So this is something very interesting. Is it risky? If you're asking me, I'm telling you, yes, it's risky. 3 days to earn 2,650 is risky, but I've seen people doing this. I've heard people doing that, and I've seen with my eyes part of our community members that have done this. So now they have a form of opportunity here with this type of accounts. And it's possible to test it even with 1 account, with 3, with 5, with whatever values, up to 7, of course. It's interesting. I don't want to say that this is the way trading is with personal resources, because it's not, right? This is not the way you trade with personal resources, and that's clear. For me, it's clear. For you, it should be. In this specific approach, it's a method that gives you a chance. Putting the pressure on the 3 days gives you 88% of the target. If you're trying to sit in the market for 10 days and trying to trade all the 10 days, let's put it correctly, I think that's also extremely hard and could be harder than this 3 days. Could be harder. This is why I'm telling you. This is something interesting you could think about. I don't know if it's good or not. I have not tested yet, but theoretically, I've seen during my trading history that such numbers are possible to be delivered in 3 days. And during 3 days. It's not possible to trade like this forever. It's not possible to request someone to trade with these numbers for 7, 10, 15 days. Very, very less likely to do it. But only for 3 days, it's a different deal. It's a total different deal, right? I mean, sounds attracting. Careful. You gotta be careful. Very risky approach. You gotta do your diligence. And consider this only specifically to these conditions, of course. This is not the classic trading of a personal account. It's not that. This is something else. Thank you, guys. If you have any other questions, let me know what you think about in the comments area. I think I've shared with you something valuable you can think about. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Feel free to subscribe. Reach out to me on Discord, like the video, share this one with your friends. It's interesting. Have a lovely day. Make sure to utilize the links, the coupon codes, everything will give you a maximum discount. Thank you so much. Waiting you on my live streams from Monday to Friday. I'm going to test it out, guys. I'm going to test it out. I just got my Simpro accounts already trading, and it's different. I didn't apply this strategy from the beginning. It's different. I accepted a loss. It's a different thing with this ones that I have right now. But simply, when the time comes to have a new set of 7 accounts, I'm going to test it out, right? So I'm going to do this on live stream. Thank you, guys. Have a beautiful time. Have a lovely day. We'll talk to you soon.